So welcome everyone to our first episode of, I guess, paid companionship industry insights. So I'm Arik, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Choice Technologies, and our aim is to destigmatize paid companionship. Harper, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, I'm Harper and I am a paid companion, and I'm working with Arik to make sure that Choice is everything that it is supposed to be for the people who use it.
So we met in Berlin at Sex Tech conference, where you gave a really impressive presentation on all the challenges that technological, but also real life challenges faced by paid companionship providers. You also talked a lot about the Online Safety Act, and I think for today, maybe tell us what it means, what it does, why it's important. So the UK Online Safety Act.
Yeah, so the Online Safety Act 2023, which is its official title, is a change in legislation from existing internet and video safety networks. So before we had things to protect children from accessing videos or services on the internet, but this is to restrict content that is made by influencers or pornography stars, and that is to protect children on the wider internet. Instead of just one industry specific website being age gated so a child can't access, this is monitoring every avenue and every channel, and it's making the internet safer for children, which is much needed, and also not necessarily much safer for children alone, but safer to just exist on the internet. So safer to communicate, making sure there's less fraud and less kind of dishonest and immoral behavior.
I always find it helps a lot when we give very specific examples
Mm.
to explain what these legal initiatives or policymaking
Yeah.
mean. So I'll just go ahead and start. So, and by the way, the Online Safety Act is the UK equivalent to the Digital Services Act that the EU Commission is or has released. So I think when we talk about especially protection of minors, my example is always you go to a supermarket and you want to buy a beer. The supermarket checks your ID and whether you are the person on the ID, and if they don't and sell you the beer anyway, and you're below the legal age for purchasing beer, then the supermarket chain or grocery shop has a huge issue.
Mm.
When we look at the same example on the internet for adult entertainment, we are presented by corporations arguably larger than certain grocery chains or supermarket chains. And they get away with two buttons. One says I'm 18 and the other one says I'm not 18.
Yeah,
And they deem that to be enough to protect minors.
it's wild,
Um,
isn't it? Actually,
right. So that's an example, right? Do you have another one or?
I have another example, and this is something that the Ofcom, which is the UK's regulator of media, has recently spoken about in one of its conferences, and that is and it's going to highlight the nuance of this coming legislation, that it's not necessarily what you say but how you say it, and the implications that you're saying it to your audience has. So for example, they were very careful not to name any names, but there is a large movement of misogynistic content online, and that is associated with a very affluent lifestyle. And so they have written as a priority illegal harm, so something that is of the utmost harm to children and society in general, is the association of having one marginalized or one group of people or one ideology that in the negative then associates with high wealth of the alternative, if that makes sense. So you're being misogynistic towards women, and whilst doing so you're earning really well off of the opposite of being the big guy in the room. So that is going to be a priority harm. And also, the nuance as well is to do with how you're talking about something. So it's not necessarily that you're talking about an illegal harm, such as your complications and your history with suicide or suicide ideation or depression or something like that. But it's you're allowed to speak about that, and the expression of having a difficult time is permitted to speak about. But if you were to change that narrative ever so slightly and discuss how someone might wish to harm themselves, or how you felt at your absolute lowest point, which made you feel like you could or you would do such and such, that second part is what is going to be a priority legal offence. So you can be sexy, you can be free, you can express yourself, but it's how you express yourself that is going to be kind of kept in the bill, and that's the detail that we seek to understand as people making a living on the internet.
All right, great. Well, thanks a lot. I think so on the Digital Services Act, we had some development on designation of adult entertainment platforms as very large online platforms. Interestingly, when the EU Commission started that with the first set of designations with Google, Meta, and so forth, they left out or forgot the largest adult entertainment platforms, which, based on an open letter that was sent through a coalition that we are soon to be part of, then got actually done by the EU Commission and is in effect as of February 14th this year. However, the largest adult entertainment platforms are now fighting this in court, claiming they don't have enough users to be designated very large online platforms, which is also hard to believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess that's it for our first chat. If you have any topics or questions, just comment, and we'll be happy to integrate it in future chats.
Yeah. Thanks very much, everyone.